Right. But yeah, this has been a great company for me. I mean, when I bought my truck, I bought it off of a friend of mine.
Okay.
And he owned Truck and Trailer, and him and his wife did they worked for, they were like agents, brokered freight.
Okay.
So he decided to get out of it, and I was with a company that was one of those lease purchase.
Yeah.
And I was losing my butt. I mean, I was pulling in $200-$300 checks in a week, and I had figured it out with their program that they had, because they only paid like $1.05 a mile.
Okay.
But with their program that they had, if I could have got 2,500 miles in a week, I would have been making good money.
Sure.
And they couldn't even keep me doing that.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty bad. So yeah, but they still want their truck payment and all of that. So when this friend of mine asked me if I wanted to buy his truck and trailer, I said sure. And then he had his own authority. He did it all himself, 100% by himself. And he's extremely intelligent. So, booking freight was easy for him. It came naturally.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd look at something, boom, no, I have to think about it,
Oh, sure.
But, and plus he's got the experience because he used to do that, booking freight for people before. And so, he's got the experience for doing it. So when he asked me if I wanted to do that, I said, yeah. So we sat down and talked. But I would do everything like if it were myself.
Okay.
Paperwork I had to do. The heavy use tax.
Sure.
I had to do. The licensing of the tractor I had to do. There was no team to do anything for me.
Right.
My own money for fuel. Right now money.
Yeah.
I had to get a factoring company, and what a factoring company is like if you guys CMT, Great Plains, they get the bill of ladings from the drivers, they turn it in, and it takes 30 to 60 days to get paid on the bill of ladings. Sometimes less, sometimes more. It depends on what the company has worked out.
Right.
But for me as an individual to wait that long to get my money for each load, I couldn't do it. So the factoring company would charge me 6%. Then I had to pay a percentage to the company that I was doing for booking me the freight, which is fair.
Yeah.
And he did only 10%, but still.
Okay.
And I thought that was fair.
Okay. Sure.
So they would find me freight and everything, but I had a lot of problems with the trailer, financial problems. So 3-4 weeks into it, I had about $6,000-$7,000 worth of work that had to be done on the trailer, and that killed me.
Wow.
Because now I had to put out that money right now because they're not going to take payments.
Right.
Plus, I still had to have fuel money. I was going through credit cards to pay for fuel. There were times where when I come home, because I got into the idea of I wanted to get a credit card with the frequent flyer miles on it.
Yeah.
Because most drivers, if you look at what you spend in fuel per year, you're talking like $70,000, $80,000 to $100,000 in fuel.
Yeah.
So my idea was that if I got it on a credit card with the frequent flyer miles, then all of a sudden my vacations would be really cool because I would have all the points. So I would take money out of my checking account, put it onto the card.
Yeah.
Go get fuel a day later, and then find out that it takes 2 days. So now my money is in limbo and I can't go anywhere because I don't have any money because I can't pay for the fuel. This literally happened to me, but thank God it happened to me here in Fargo with a company a little truck stop I was doing business with. So they were really good about it. The next day I finally got it straightened out, went in, told them to run it again, took off and got freight.
Gotcha.
So that there's a hassle there that with a company you don't have to worry about because you use the fuel card.
Right.
Which makes life so much easier. Then you're out on the road, something else goes wrong. You get that truck fixed, because you got to have, without truck running, you can't go anywhere.
Right.
Now you're not making any money while you're at the shop. You got to pay all that money right now.
Sure.
Then you go, oh my gosh, I only got enough for 1 tank of fuel out of, my checking account because it's all me, you know. So then you would sit at the truck stop, wait for those bills to go through because the factory company will pay you in 3 days. Wait until they deposit the money into my account so that way I could have fuel money so I could keep rolling. And it's just an ongoing battle. There have been 3 to 4 times when I was doing it in the 2 years like that I almost lost everything.
Oh man.
And it's when you have that concept of losing everything that you've worked for, it really, the stress is unreal. It's terrible. And then a friend of mine was telling me about CMT here, And I knew one of the guys too. So I talked to a couple of drivers out on the road from CMT. They had good things to say. So then I came in and I sat down, and the president, or I forget his job title, but we got together. We went to Spitfire for lunch. I offered to buy myself, and he said no. They bought. We went over everything. I owed $15,000 on my truck, so they wrote a check, paid my truck off, and then of course I had to pay them back.
Right.
You know, so I set it up to where I would do $2,000 a month payments for the truck. Then they brought the truck in because it had a lot of miles on it. So their guys in the shop here looked at it. They went through it, and oh God, this is really good. They found two major things that I would have been out of business. It would have ruined my truck. One of the universal joints was shot.
Oh wow, yeah, joints are.
Yeah, and then the tie rods for the front steer tires were going bad, and they found that, and I didn't, and it was underneath. So they fixed both of those. They put a couple of extra things that I wanted on the truck. They put the Centermatics on the drive tires, and then the crossfires. Now the Centermatics is like a ring with say buckshot in it, and when it turns, it helps balance your tire.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
cool.
and I swear by them. Yeah, I put them, when I was doing it by myself, I was going through steer tires. So I finally took these steer tires and I swapped them, put the Centermatics on, and that particular set of steer tires lasted me a lot longer than what they were because I put those on. So I swear by those. Those are a good investment for anybody to do who owns their own truck or even a company.
Centermatics.
Yeah, in fact, I noticed here they have boxes of them, and they put them on the drives and the steers on even the Great Plains trucks and any CMT owner-operator that wants them, and I would swear by doing them. They're a good investment, and they're not that expensive.
Right on, yeah.
And then the crossfires are real nice because you look at it and, you know, there's 3 colors, and it tells you whether your tire's overinflated or underinflated.
Oh, perfect.
And one nozzle to fill it up.
Oh, beautiful.
So that, you know, that makes it great. But those 2 things that they found and a couple other things, you know, they fixed. Didn't bill me because, you know, I was here for like a week before I actually went out on the road. They went over my truck, found stuff, fixed it, you know, made me a safer driver on the road. Then everything's done. I go out, everything's good, you know, having a good time, making some okay money, you know, at first. You know, when you got payments and everything.
Right.
You got to look at it as in, I'm making this $2,000 a month payment, you know, but then everybody starts looking at to see what's in your pocket, and it's like, okay, my checks are small. No, you add that $2,000.
Oh, sure.
This is what you're making.
Right, right.
So when
Plus
you add
you know, you got the peace of mind that you've got someone that's got your back.
Yeah.
You know, not going to let you fail. That you know is going to, you know, strive to, you know, get you successful. As long as you've got the drive and the want, and the determination on
and
your
you're
end.
safe out there.
100%.
You got to be. I mean, if you're some idiot that's gonna, you know, drive some deliver freight to the wrong place, it's not gonna work out.
Right.
They expect you to be able to do your job and do it well.
Right.
And then, if you say you're gonna do something, you do it. And if extenuating circumstances prohibit you from doing that, your communication with dispatch has to be on so they know what to do to take care of their customers. We're all a team. It's like a circle. We all work together in order to accomplish the same goal.
Right. It's a chain. I mean, you get a weak link, then the chain breaks, you know, like, because everyone relies on everyone. And, you know, me being in the office and listening to these dispatchers, it's crazy. You know, when you get a breakdown, that just kind of screws up the whole chain.
Yep.
You know, or you get, you know, someone that's, I was just the other day, it took, you know, 5 or 6 hours to get unloaded or something. And, you know, it wasn't necessarily the driver's fault, but at the same time, it was a situation. Now, all of a sudden, they're not able to pick up where they were supposed to be because they're not going to get there in time. So they got to find someone else, and that takes them off theirs. And it's just a chain reaction.
Oh, yeah. Dominoes. It just keeps affecting everybody, not just you, not just dispatch, but other drivers. Now somebody else has got to go pick up this load, scramble around. So, you know, the better the communication is, especially in a breakdown, company driver or owner-operator, keep your people informed so they know what's going on. And then when you're in a hotel room and you're waiting and you hear from the mechanics, you know, and you turn around and you call up and let them know what's going on so we can start kind of figuring something out to fix whatever problem instead of trying to place blame on, well, you didn't do this or you didn't do that or you didn't do this.
Right, no one likes to get in that situation.
When things happen, it's not placed the blame on somebody. It's how do we fix this and go forward.
Yeah, find a solution. I mean, what happened. Yeah. That's the past, water under the bridge. You know, what are the different ways that we can come up with a solution? And, you know, that's typical in a lot of office settings too, is in a lot of business, you know, situations, you know, how many solutions can I find? You know, how can I, you know, and use the team to your benefit, right? So everyone here has all of the drivers' backs. I mean, we even have the shop, you know, I'll go into the, you know, I know I'm not a mechanic, but you know, it's, hey, you know, can I move a box for you? You know, do you need something from me? How can I help you out? You know, and as long as everyone's got each other's backs and willing to help out and pick up the slack we need, because again, you know, we all run into situations where we can't, you know, we might not be able to do something as best as we want to do it, but if we voice that and communicate, like you say, you're going to have a whole team behind you that's just going to help you out.
Communication is the best, even with the shipper or the receiver. Now, I know shippers and receivers are different with reefer than they are with flatbedding. Mm-hmm. In my personal experience, because I've done both, I think talking to a shipper or receiver in the flatbedding industry is a little easier than trying to get a hold of a shipper or receiver with the reefer. But your dispatcher can do that, you know, and they'll make things work.
Sure.
But you know, back to the part of when I got here. So right after I got out, they fixed all the stuff on the truck, you know, and I got out on the road. I had a bunch more problems.
Oh wow, okay.
You know, some things wrong with the tractor, and it was like a domino effect. So in the course of my first hire, $15,000 they put out, to 3 to 4 months later, I probably ran up, and I'm not exact on the figures, but pretty close to another 15 grand. So in 6 months, I owed CMT and Great Plains 30 grand.
Wow.
You know, and I'm a new hire with my own truck and having all these problems. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to get rid of me as soon as I pay this off. But they were very cool about everything.
Yeah.
And then when I got done with the truck payments, I still had a very large mechanic bill. Mm-hmm. So I turned around and I came in and I told them, I said, keep taking the $2,000 a month for the mechanic bill because I'm already used to that coming out.
Budgeted, yeah.
Yeah, so then after, you know, a year and a half later, I'm all paid up. I don't owe CMT nothing. I don't have a truck payment. You know, the only thing I owe is like your ongoing bills is going to be your insurance and different things like that. But the other nice thing about leasing onto a company is that I get better rates in the shop. Shop rates here are $85 an hour at Freightliner and at, depending on the kind of truck you have, at Freightliner and at Wallworks, which is a Kenworth dealer. All these guys are like $145 an hour, which drastically makes an oil change super expensive or less expensive depending on where you go. You know, minor work gets to be more expensive because of how much the labor is. So they do a lot here to help you out. You use their fuel card.
Yeah. Which
I save anywhere from $30 to $45 every time I fuel. When you fuel first, though, and you see your receipt, your fuel receipt, you're not going to see that savings on your fuel receipt. You'll see it on your settlement check. Sure. You'll see. I keep track, very good records. I write down where I got fuel at, what truck stop it was, city, state, my mileage for my ability to see what my fuel mileage is.
Yeah.
And then how much it was, so that way when I get my settlement check, I can see what it was. I look on my settlement and I go, oh look, I saved $30 on this fueling.
Right.
By the end of the month, you add that up. Every 3 months, it made a truck payment for me.
Oh,
on the savings.
Just on the fuel savings.
Just that alone. A national account for tires, and this just happened to me. This is a fact. Before I came in, I got recaps on my drives.
Okay.
And that was all I could afford. But when I came, I just literally bought them, so I wasn't going to go, go ahead and take it. I'm not throwing money away.
Sure.
But here recently, I was out. 3 of them went out on me. Pull into a Love's, start talking to them. Normally, I would have bought the tires myself, but I remember they have a national account.
Sure.
Which means a really good BF Goodrich tire could be anywhere from $500 to $600. On a national account, you're going to save almost $100 per tire. Ooh. So I went ahead and I talked to them, and they said, sure, put it on a national account. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get me a good set of tires. Yeah. I put really good tires on the truck, and now I don't have to worry. and then the bill comes in, and they'll take it depending on how much it is. They'll take X amount of dollars out of payday, instead of me taking it all out of my pocket all at one lump sum. Because to be honest, if it wasn't for the national account, I would have got a cheaper set of tires.
Right.
You know, if I would have had to pay it, I would have paid $3,000 instead of paying the $45,000 to $5,000 for the tires. But it gives me the opportunity to get something better for the truck that's going to last longer and save me money in the long run, and make the payments easier.
So I mean, you know, it might be a wash up front, but in the long run, you're actually saving money by getting better equipment.
Oh yeah, and plus that money stays in my pocket, in my bank account.
And it's peace of mind, and it's, you know, it makes your job more comfortable. I'm sure better tires, rides a little smoother.
Oh yeah,
you know,
fuel mileage, all of that stuff matters.
So you start adding all that up.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's an investment at that point.
Yeah. Oh,
for sure.
There was another time here. This is towards the beginning. You know, I came home for some home time, and somebody backed into the tractor and hit the bonnet, so I had a big crack in the bonnet.
Oh man.
And I had black tape, you know, Gorilla Tape on it so that the wind wouldn't catch it. And everything was still working a little bit, but things were a little out. Some other things broke on it because of, you know, you get a crack here, something else happens over here. So over the course of time, because I called the body shop and it was going to be like $4 or $5 to get all that fixed. I'm like, oh, this is too much. So I'm babying this thing. Yeah. And I'm saving up my money, you know, because I don't want to ask again for more money. So then I'm like, okay, I got the money and I'm here at home. So I take it to Freightliner and they do the body work and everything. And then this part's bad news. My sister calls me up and tells me that my dad's on his last leg, that he's going to pass. Oh, man. So I'm like, I got to fly out to California. So I called up, talked to the president here, and I'm like, I don't have the money to do both. Immediately, you go see your dad, we'll take care of your truck. I went out, flew out, and saw my dad, and it was a nice experience to be able to see him before he went, because it's important.
Oh, certainly.
And not worry about, I got all this to take care of. Man. I come back, I go to Freightliner, my bill's paid for, they ask me if there's anything I want. I come in here, they're telling me, what do you feel comfortable making a payment for? You know, this is why coming to a company that treats you like a person is more important than trying to do everything on yourself. It's worth the 15%. It's worth the cost of the trailer rental. Sure. It's all, for me, it's been a huge thing. When I first came here, I barely had any money in my checking account. If I was out of work for a month, we would have went under. Yeah. Now I have enough money in my savings account to where I could be out of work for 6 to 10 months and not even miss a beat and still be able to have the nice things from when you're working of going out to dinner. Wow. So I've done really well in almost 2 years. It's not quite 2 years. And this is where I'm at because I made the decision to come to a good company. Sure. And it's stress level way down, happiness way up. Oh yeah. It is so nice now. Now granted, this particular part I can do a little bit more because my truck is paid for. All my bills with CMT are paid for. Mm-hmm. You know, it's nice. I can come home, take a week, 2 weeks off if I want. They don't give me a hard time. They just want to know when I want to come back to work. Right. You know, which is understandable.
You do good work, and guys do good work. We don't want to, you know.
Yeah, you know.
But at the same time, you know, I get it.
It is so nice to be in this position now to where I don't have to be stressed over this business. And then everybody asks me, like, you know, because my truck has a lot of miles on it. Sure. And they're like, okay, well, if your truck goes, then you're screwed again. No, I made it work here when I had a truck payment. So I have a plan, and I've already talked to people here about it, that if my truck goes out, you know, completely where it's not worth putting the money back into it. Yeah, yeah. So then I'll rent out of my own pocket. I'll go rent a pickup. I'll take all my equipment off. Yeah. I'll put it into the pickup. I'll drive out here. I'll sit down, pick out the truck that I want. Yeah. You know, whatever they have, or go to a dealership with their help. Yeah, certainly. Get another truck, do a power only back to wherever the trailer is. And then drop that power only, because power only means you're just pulling somebody else's trailer. Hook up to mine, put all my equipment back, you know, onto the trailer or whatever I need to do, and boom, back to work I go. So now I got a truck payment again. But in the long run, it still works out because you're going to need those write-offs being an owner-operator at the end of the year. Yep. Yep, you can, and I'm assuming you can write off depreciation and parts and, you know, parts of fuel and stuff.
So yeah, no, I think that's
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not worried if my truck blows up while I'm out on the road, because literally my truck's got 1,200,000 miles on it.
wow.
Knock on wood, she still runs good, but I take very good care of my
Yeah.
truck,
Right.
you know, because that's what makes me money and makes my family money, and I like my truck.
Yeah.
You know, it's all mine.
Right. Well,
And I honestly, I don't want another truck payment, but I have a plan in case something happens
Yeah.
to where I'm not going, oh my God, now the stress level's back, because it won't be, because I'm here.
Right. Well, it's like you said earlier. I mean, you budget for it, right? So one of the things that my dad taught me long ago, when I wanted a new vehicle, and it cost X amount for a payment and insurance and additional fuel, because it was an SUV as opposed to a car. It was a Honda, and I wanted this ZR2 Chevy. I just wanted to be cool. So he told me, he said, all right, well, here's what the payment is, here's the insurance, and here's the additional and fuel and whatnot, and, throw an extra $50 for miscellaneous, you never know, whatever. Practice for 3 to 6 months. Just pretend like you're making that payment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it turned out like there's no way.
Yeah.
No, absolutely no way I could do it. But, if you can budget what a truck payment would be, and if you've got, 6 to 10 months worth of savings built up, that's there you go. You can be at that point where you don't have to worry about it.
It's a nice feeling of security, because I've never, in my entire life, I've never had this kind of, I don't want to say like financial independence and make it sound like I got a lot of money, but I have enough money to where if something happened, I don't have to worry.
Right.
I mean, now, if the engine blew up and I wanted to put a new engine in it, I don't have $45,000 or $30,000, but I got a really huge chunk of that.
Sure.
Then I could turn around and say, I can turn around and say, hey, can you loan me this much?
Sure.
I put in this much.
Right.
And so like anywhere you go, if you put in something, they're going to put in something, because
for sure,
I've already proven, as I look at it, and I get a kick out of it, because I say with CMT I got AAA credit.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, you got a good track record,
You work hard, they're going to work with you, they're going to help you. If there's something you don't know how to do or don't understand or whatever, you come in, you talk to somebody, you call them up first, because, everybody's busy. Call them up first and say, hey, I'll be in on this date. Can I have, 20 minutes of your time, or an hour,
Sure.
half an hour, whatever you need, because I don't understand something. And nobody here has ever given me a hard time explaining something to me when I didn't understand something.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it is. Nor have I ever been yelled at here.
Right.
Nobody ever yells at me.
Well, a lot of it goes into it too. I mean, the attitude, your personality, your commitment, your dedication, your transparency. That goes a long way too. If and it goes with anybody. I mean, you get someone that's that has a wall built up, that doesn't want to explain, that doesn't want to hop on a call, that's trying to hide issues. If you're open and honest and transparent, that's kind of how we all are, right? So, and we just expect that. And so, as long as everyone really understands that and has a good attitude and is like, hey, listen, things are going to get rough. Nothing's perfect, but I'm here. What do we do about it? What's the solution?
Yeah.
How can we work together? That's a win-win situation.
It is, and it makes your working experience a lot better. It doesn't, even as a company driver, I'm sure. I mean, technically, people will say that when you're an owner-operator leased to a company, you're a glorified company driver. That's what they say. I don't feel like that. I still feel like I make my decisions.
Sure.
And I don't ask permission to go out a route, to go somewhere else or a different way if there's extra time on it. And I know I can make it. If I want to go 200 miles out of route, I go 200 miles out of route. I pay for the fuel.
Sure.
And that's really nice. That way I can go visit somebody on an extra long weekend. Mm-hmm. But everybody treats me here very well. If there's a load and I'm at home and they call me up, and if I don't want to do it, they don't give me a hard time. I don't pay for it later because I said no to something.
Right.
They're like, okay, we'll find somebody else.
Okay.
And it's good that way. I like it.
Right. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're good people here. I would definitely recommend anybody who's looking for a better place, especially owner-operators, come here. You're going to get very well taken care of.